The Prime Minister's going to be here later on today. What does this industry need to hear from her?
Well, I think there's two things. Firstly, where are we in the Brexit negotiations? And clearly the publication of the white paper last week, I think, will have reassured an awful lot of people about, we are making some progress. We are going to have a frictionless system of trade here in Europe. I think the second thing which industry is really keen to hear is what is the UK's post-Brexit ambition? And I think we will hear from the Prime Minister a significant announcement about new investment into the aerospace industry to ensure that here in the UK we continue to be a world leader.
So how important is that? What will that money go to? Which key areas need that cash right now?
Well, I think this is really about being at the forefront of the electrification of flight. I think if you'd been to air shows over the course of the last few years... They're noisy. There's always also a flying car as well, we like to see those. But I think what we're now seeing, both from the likes of Boeing, from Airbus, from Rolls-Royce, is a focus on what's next, what's new, and electrification, addressing some of the key environmental challenges, particularly noise, is very much at the forefront of our agenda, but also the new world of potential urban air transport solutions. So, vertical takeoff and lift, whether they're urban taxis, those kinds of things. I think people can now see those are real new market opportunities which will add to people's businesses.
She's also likely to talk about the fact that the UK is likely to remain in the European Aviation Safety Agency and some of the key agencies that this industry relies on. How important is that as an announcement? Because that's going to allow, as you say, the kind of frictionless story to develop.
So for us, our number one priority from the Brexit negotiations was retaining our membership of the European Aviation Safety Agency, because there are only two big global safety agencies. One is based here in Europe, the second is the US. We have a significant role and influence in that European agency, and for us, remaining part of it is really crucial to our future competitiveness.
Airbus and other voices over the last few weeks have been heard. Airbus in particular was splashed all over the front pages in terms of its concerns surrounding the direction of travel that Britain was taking. Why did it take so long for the industry to step up and make its voice heard? Or was it simply just waiting for that critical point to insert itself?
Well, I think, I would say that we have been making those points very clearly, very concisely, but very politely, certainly privately, during the course of the last 18 months. I think what we saw with not just Airbus but a range of industrial players was a public statement of their concerns, which I think were part of, we hope, pushing the Prime Minister to make the key decisions around what that future relationship should look like, recognising the regulatory or the common rule book, but also recognising that we needed that free trade area in order to ensure that as a European industry, we were not put at a competitive disadvantage.
You say that the conversation has been going on for quite some time, and that was happening privately behind closed doors. Were you not being heard? Was that what was happening here? Was the government not listening to what you were saying, and that was why ultimately it ended up in the situation where, as I say, Airbus, the comments that it was making splashed across front pages of newspapers? Because if the quiet kind of diplomacy was working, that wouldn't have been necessary.
I suppose that's partially true. I think the reality is, as you've seen, that Brexit is a challenge, and there are a range of competing views as to what the UK's relationship should be post-Brexit. And I think where industry was to align very clearly with those who wanted to see, first and foremost, a successful Brexit, but also a relationship and a deal that protected our competitiveness. And I think, being more public about that was, we hope, helpful in providing the Prime Minister and other people in Cabinet with the support that they needed in order to make the difficult decisions that they've reached.